time for some questions. Please identify yourself, please.
Athanasios Athanasiou with Real News Greece and Star Channel Greece. The two presidents, first, if I read you correctly, you're asking for flexibility in the implementation of the Stability and Growth Pact. But is that how far you want to go? Do you have any indication that maybe the next presidency will like to revise the pact altogether? And bearing in mind, of course, the IMF Article 4 recommendation that says it's overly complicated and it might be need to simplify the rules if they are complicated. So one more question to Prime Minister Samaras. Could you please elaborate a little bit more on the Maritime Safety Directive? Thanks.
On the first question, we stated very clearly, and you can read in the text, that we give the possibility to use, make the best use of the existing Stability and Growth Pact use in order to foster growth, to promote investment, to create jobs, and to enhance competitiveness via structural reforms. So there's sufficient space in the existing rules to meet that goal. Of course, this is a responsibility in the first place of the European Commission to interpret the existing rules, but we are not saying that we will change the rules. We know that in the upcoming months, the new Commission will report on the implementations of the rules, and then it is up to the Council or to the European Council to make an evaluation of this, but it's clearly stated that we are using the possibilities foreseen in the current pact and in the current rules based on the pact.
Yes, I think President Van Rompuy already explained there was no proposal, by the way, to change the rules. No Prime Minister proposed to change the rules. The conclusions are very clear. You'll find them in detail. The possibilities offered by the European Union's existing fiscal framework to balance fiscal discipline with the need to support growth should be used. Given the persistently high debt and unemployment levels and the low nominal GDP growth, as well as the challenges of an aging society and of supporting job creation, particularly for the young, fiscal consolidation must continue in a growth-friendly and differentiated manner. And it goes on afterwards with more references to the structural reforms, to fiscal sustainability, an appropriate assessment of fiscal measures and structural reforms, making best use of the flexibility that is built into the existing Stability and Growth Pact rules. So I want to clarify this point because, in fact, some comments we have heard before the European Council may have suggested that there was a kind of proposals to change the rules. So, no, that was not the case. And even less to change the treaty, Stability and Growth Pact. As you know, we have the treaty rules. We have the fiscal compact. We have now the two-pack. We have the six-pack. And no member state, no head of government suggested this. Where there was a discussion, and an interesting discussion, by the way, was precisely on how can we make the most of the current rules so that we can, in fact, pursue the fiscal consolidation that is indispensable because of the high levels of debt, at the same time to make the most for investment and growth. This was the point, and the conclusions reflect a very solid consensus on this matter.
If I may answer that question myself, I believe that there's some talk going on about whether you want to relax stability, review it, the Stability Pact, or whether you want to give more emphasis to growth. In Greece, we have done the fiscal part and most of the structural changes. And honestly, I believe that there is no dilemma. We need both. we must certainly keep up with the reform agenda. We must certainly retain our fiscal discipline, but at the same time, we urgently need to boost growth. And we have to do that in a healthy manner, sustainable manner. And therefore, I believe that if I can put it on two other words, the Eurozone, the European Union, should address the problem of competitiveness to have growth and make sure we do not lose sight of the basic principles of stability. And I believe, therefore, that the stability and growth, we can pursue both of them at the same time. As far as the launching of an EU maritime policy in security, growth and energy, as I said, a key component is the maritime security strategy. And as I said before, we are protecting all the economic interests of the Union. An agreement has been reached on the directive on maritime spatial planning, which is very important, χωροταξική, in other words, planning, which is very important. And a regulation was adopted to finance the actions of the European Maritime Safety Agency, the EMSA. And this is also an important development.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Hello, my name is Anna Mahoney with the EU Observer. Given the result of this summit, do you think that the Spitzenkandidat process is here to stay? For example, will it be here in 2019? And do you accept that national governments were simply outmaneuvered by the European Parliament on this issue?
So, first of all, you use words which reflects an interpretation of an evaluation of the process, outmaneuvered. Most of the leaders belong to European parties, and they were involved in the process of appointing a candidate, a future candidate for the European Commission. So you have to take this into account, and this was also reflected in a discussion we had. So the word outmaneuvered is a word that I will not use. Second reflection is that is everybody happy with the procedure? That's something else. And that's why we also stated in the draft in the conclusions of the European Council, and I'm quoting now literally, once the new European Commission is effectively in place, the European Council will consider the process for the appointment of the President of the European Commission for the future, respecting the European treaties.
Thank you for this answer. This is the end of the press conference. Thank you for your attention.